Just a nice, quiet, relaxing hump day to, feel good about yourself, I guess. Yes, I had no idea where I was going with that either. Good morning, happy hump day, everybody. So, again, really not a whole lot, happened yesterday. It was actually, pretty pretty ordinary day, to be honest. Not a bad day at all, just, ordinary, I suppose. It's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think, we're again in sort of a limbo where, technically everything will be considered, average or mundane before something truly great happens. I mean, we do have Easter this week. There is Easter this weekend, but that's actually an interesting fact is, and this is something I learned, believe it or not, when I was in church. I swear this isn't anything preachy, I swear. Is that, apparently Lent is supposed to end, at sundown tonight. Which means, theoretically, if I did want to have meat on Fridays, this Friday, I actually could. Which is awesome. So, yeah, if you practice the Christian Catholic faith, technically you are allowed to have meat on Friday. Personally, though, I'm not going to partake simply because I personally consider the end of Lent to be, midnight on Saturday, which would therefore be, Sunday. So, there's that. With that in mind, if you want to consider the end of the day today, the end of Lent, I'm not gonna stop you. In fact, you're welcome to. Of course, if you're not a Christian or a Catholic or any of the sort, then you can completely ignore what I'm saying. Plus, honestly, when it comes to not eating meat on Fridays throughout Lent, I've already made it this far. Honestly, what's one more Friday in the grand scheme of things? Plus, after this Friday, I'm going to have every other opportunity throughout the rest of this year on Fridays to eat meat. So, I'll take it. Considering that you have the final Friday in April, all of May, all of June, all of July, all of August, September, October, November, December. You have January, because there's no way Lent's ever going to start there. And then it gets kind of fuzzy, because, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea when Lent starts next year. I mean, I know there's a set calendar, but I, for the life of me, don't remember what it is. I do know, however, that last year with Lent starting on Valentine's Day and ending on Easter Sunday a year ago, that's not the first time it's ever happened, and it won't be the last. I do know that, at least. So, expect to hear a certain old joke I used to say. I'm not going to give it away now. That'd be weird. So, yeah. Actually, I learned that this week is, the end of today is the end of Lent, believe it or not, because, my family is actually in really close ties with the Catholic Church of Corning, because, we go to church there all the time. So much so that whenever we have, family get-togethers and stuff, we actually do invite, any of the, priests or deacons in the area. Oh yeah, I try not to act like it because it's not really the time or place to ever say these things. But my family is actually very, very, very Christian. Very Catholic. Very, for example, I just told you the other day on Sunday, the 14th, this past Sunday, that we celebrated my cousin's birthday. a deacon and two of the priests of the area were there. And yeah, it was actually, I mean, it was a nice experience. I was, believe it or not, because one of the priests is actually new. He'll only be here about a year in like May or June. This is actually the first Lent he's ever had in the Corning area. So, that's neat. Although, I do know that this entire week he's going to be very, very, very busy. Trust me, Holy Week, which is the final week of Lent, is loaded with, church services. Morning, noon, and night. So, I mean, it'd be silly for me to say that he'd be doing a service right now because it's, 6:20 right now. I mean, no service is that early. I can assure you of that. Believe me, even if there was, and for whatever reason I wasn't able to go the night before, I wouldn't go at this hour either. I mean, sure. I've accidentally missed church a couple times. It happens. I mean, you're not expected to go. Listen, I mean, how do I put this without sounding, kind of bad? Like, some Christians take their religion so seriously that they absolutely need to go to church, absolutely no matter what the hour, etc. Now, don't get me wrong. I just mentioned that there are times I miss church myself. That's fine. No one's perfect. So if I accidentally miss a service or whatever, a weekly service, it's certainly not the end of the world. I'll go like next week. It's fine. Plus, ultimately, as long as you continue to be a good person, you really don't have anything to worry about. I mean, I try to be a good person every day. I mean, don't really know if making these videos would count as making me a good person. It would make me, I guess, an interesting person, but not like, I try not to, I guess I don't really speak anything negative or bad or anything like that to a degree that's, just obnoxious. So, I like to think I do some good making a video every day. So, that's nice. Let's see. Well, one thing that is definitely getting a little bit out of hand is the weather this week. Because today it's actually colder than it was yesterday morning. And it's actually supposed to get up to like 65 or whatever. But because of the clouds and the rain that we're having, it's very possible that we're not going to get much in the way of, weather or warm weather. I mean, and to make matters worse, Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be, rainy. Now, I just mentioned I think it was yesterday, or maybe it was Monday, I mentioned that my family's actually is going to go to the Watkins Glen Harbor Hotel, right at the tip of Seneca Lake for Easter brunch. Which, Watkins Glen, it's a bit of a distance from, where I am. But, with that said, it is very possible that if it's raining, say, in Corning, it may not be raining in Watkins. I mean, there are plenty of instances where, it was raining here, where I live, and, all the way up at Cuca Lake, it was, gorgeous. So, teach their own. I guess with that in mind, I guess you gotta take one day at a time, we really are, I guess, in that flux where winter just doesn't want to end. I mean, there's no more snow. Thank goodness for that. I don't think we're ever gonna get snow again until, maybe November, December of this year, which, we're going to be thinking, oh, that's a long way away from now. It's not going to work. Well, insert story about my brother getting married here. So, yeah, there's that. So, man, I'll be honest, I really had no idea what I was going to talk about today. I can't believe I talked about, this is probably the most Christian-oriented video I think I've made so far. I mean, I just hope I wasn't preachy. Like, that's actually the one thing, that's one thing I always try and be careful about is, like, yes, I have said I am Catholic, but I don't want to come across as, preachy because, that's annoying. Some Catholics are so incredibly overzealous that they'll say, unless you go to church and, you're Catholic, then, you're not going to live a good life or something like that. That is not remotely true. In fact, I can tell you for a fact the opposite is true. I'm Christian, but my life is not perfect. It was never meant to be. I have several videos I've made in the past, particularly one I made last December, that would definitely indicate that my life is nowhere near perfect at all. But I still like to think there's some darn good in it too. Plus, even if the rest of this week ends up not being very eventful, Easter's this weekend, and then we have Avengers Endgame. I am so excited, but also very nervous. Oh no, I think the movie's going to be fantastic. The thing that has me nervous is how am I going to do a movies? Because you got to remember, like, I do that video pretty much, not almost immediately, but after I see the movie. But Avengers Endgame is going to be 3 hours long. This is going to be a doozy. But it should be a fun one. Plus, should I do what I did? Well, to be fair though, the only reason why I didn't really talk about Infinity War last year really was because everyone on the internet was going to spoil it and I didn't want to follow suit. But I guess I could make a video telling what my thoughts are and everything. I just hope that it's good and it stays that way, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 3 has had 9 movies so far, and they've all been good. Now, say that Avengers Endgame ends up being bad, 9 out of 10, that's pretty good. But you never want to fall at the finish line. I think that if Avengers Endgame is good, then Marvel, and by extension Disney, will have secured a market that's going to last for probably generations to come. Or maybe at some point, superhero movies will stop being a fad. Actually, that's never going to happen at all. That's about as likely to happen as me stopping making videos. So always look forward to at least me doing this every day. So like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. Follow me on the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. As always, I'm very humble. I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hoping that we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hump day. And remember, if you guys want to talk to chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices.